and restarting. Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming in love. My name is Generous Janetti Kendall, and I am on a mission always to unconditional love. I truly believe that love is not something that we do. Love is not something we give. Love is not something we receive. Love is who we are at the soul of the beingness that we are. And that when we are connected to our soul, when we're connected to our higher self, when we're connected to our essence, then we naturally give love. We naturally receive love. We naturally then do acts of love. And so today I want to bridge the gap between what it means for love on a soul level, but also grounding us down to earth because we are on earth, to what it means to receive love and give love and do love, and why we love the way that we love here on earth. And I believe that it's rooted in the first 7 years of life. So my teachings, my knowledge, my education comes from both early childhood development as well as love, relationship, and spiritual coaching. And so just a really quick knowing about me and how I got to where I'm at. For those who have been with me for a while, let me know if you've been here or if you're new, just so I know where you're at. But my life, they what's that expression? They have an expression where they say, you don't understand life moving forward, but when you look back, you see how the lines connect. I gotta look up that exact quote. It's like, but that's how life happened for me. Is looking back, I got my degree in early childhood development and education. I taught for 10 years. After teaching for 10 years, I felt like it was no longer my calling. I stopped teaching and I started then teaching. So I stopped teaching in the public setting, in the school setting, and I started teaching meditation. I started teaching mindfulness and spirituality. I started here on Insight Timer in 2019, 2020. And then I became a love and relationship coach. And I started to bridge the gap between spirituality and healing our inner childhood, and love and relationships and sacred sexuality. And then fast forward to 2 years ago, I became a mom. And do I have any moms in the group? Let me know if you're a mom. And after I went through the portal of birthing, I completely lost myself. And I'm still trying to find myself after motherhood. And so the pieces after I became a mom started to connect of how my bachelor's degree in early childhood development, my years as a meditation mindfulness coach, as well as my years of coaching on love and relationships and sacred sexuality and early childhood development is all weaving into what I'm actually here to do on this earth, or at least in this moment, right? Because we're always changing and evolving. And so today's workshop is very deeply rooted in my very long journey of how I got to where I'm at. And that is why you love the way that you love, and how it's based on the first 7 years of our childhood, as well as so much more. So that's what we're going to be diving into today. So who's excited? If you're excited, put excited in the chat. I'm very excited, as you can see. And I'm just so happy to be here with you guys. So before we begin, I'm going to take a sip of water. And I just want to ground our energy. I want to bring us back into our heart, back into our soul. So I want to invite us to just set the intention for this workshop today. So right now I'm going to just ground us for just a minute or two, and then maybe 5 minutes because I get excited. But then I'm going to do our talk, and then I'll lead us in a meditation, and then I'll do question and answer with that. So right now I just invite you to just close down your eyes for a minute and just place your hands on your heart and just feel into your heart. Taking a deep breath in Taking a big deep breath out. And just allow yourself to just land here, to be here. Breathing into this present moment. Breathing out of this present moment. And as you continue to breathe, feel your heart rising and falling. And start to connect deeply with your heart. Connect deeply with love. And allow yourself to just land here. And start to set your intention for this workshop, this live, this video, this moment. What is it that you wish to receive? What download, what message, what healing, what manifestation, what intention do you desire? Do you need? And plant that intention into your heart right now. And then imagine light filling up your heart. Imagine that wherever you find your faith, calling upon that energy now, whether it's spirit, God, goddess, science, whatever your faith is in life. Imagine it as a light that is filling up your heart, filling up your intention, filling up self-love. And then on the next exhale, I want you to imagine that everyone that is here today, that is listening on Insight Timer, that is listening later on the replay on YouTube, in this present moment in the future, is all gathered together, creating a circle of love. Unity of love. Imagine that we are all gathered and holding hands, creating this conscious circle of love, of unconditional love, where all of ourselves gather together as one consciousness, one soul, one love. And breathe this love that you just anchored into your heart back into yourself for a moment, radiating all of your beingness with love. Imagine that this is a light that is radiating from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, lighting you up like the golden sun, a light bulb. And just take one moment to just feel this love within you, within yourself. And then once you feel completely filled with love, I want you to imagine and really feel, act as if you are actually in this circle, gathered with all of us as one, sending this love out to everyone that's here, sending it out to everyone to the right of you, sending love out to everyone to the left of you, and send this love out like you are passing a candle flame, like you are passing a torch. And as you pass this light, they become light. They fill with light, creating a circle of love where you are sending love. You are receiving love. You are sending love. And you are receiving love. And feel this love of where you find your faith pouring into you, imagining this light coming from source, from higher self, from the earth, pouring into you, filling you up, sending it out, receiving it back. Pouring into you, filling you up, sending it out, getting it back. And one more time, feeling it pouring down from source, filling you up, sending it out, and then receiving it back. And imagine this circle now completely lit as a sun itself, creating our own mini sun of love, of light, of peace. Take a moment to just let that all land. And then starting to come back into your breath, back into your body, back into your heart, breathing into your heart, breathing out through your heart, breathing in through your heart, breathing out. One more time and coming back, wiggling your fingers and your toes, noticing what you can feel, noticing what you can taste, what you can smell, what you hear. And then opening up your eyes and notice what you can see. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Welcome back. Let me know in the chat how that landed for you. How did that feel? Did that feel good? Did it feel not so good? I want you to know that all feedback is good feedback, that there's no such thing as bad feedback, because it helps us to learn and to grow, at least for me. And so I honor your feedback. I invite you today during the workshop to take what resonates and throw away what doesn't resonate. Take what feels good to you and leave what doesn't feel good to you. I believe that there's no one path, but there's many paths. And we're all just finding our way. I believe that we're all in this labyrinth of life, and we're all just trying to help each other to get back home. And so all I'm doing today is saying, I found a way that works for me. Imagine that we're in a maze, and I'm just saying, hey, I found a way out. I found a way out. I found a door. This is the way that got me out. Come with me. Let me show you. This is how, if it will work for you. And then you can follow and you can decide, you know what? Yeah, this helped me find my way home. Or you can say, you know what? No, this didn't help me find my way home at all. And so it is an invitation always. So take what resonates and throw away what doesn't. So today we are talking about something so deeply in our human, why we love the way that we love. So I invite you guys to talk to me, to communicate with me, to comment, and share with me, why do you believe that we love the way that we love? Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the chat. Why do we love the way that we love? And I just noticed my niece has her little stuffed animal back here. I'm going to put it here. If you're wondering what this colorful thing is, my niece is staying with me. She's one of my greatest loves. But why do you think that we love the way that we love? Put it in the chat. So we're going to talk about why we love the way that we love, why we crave closeness, why we feel abandonment, why we push love away, why we overgive. Do I have any overgivers? Why we don't feel loved even when love is being offered, even when we're married and we have children. why we repeat the same relationship patterns over and over and over again, why we attract the same levels. And all of this begins with the first 7 years of life. And I want to just tell you guys, this is not because you're broken or, because your parents ruined you or anything else, but it's because we're human. And because our nervous system and our subconscious mind and were formed before we even had the words to explain what we needed. And so I just want you to just take a breath here and just feel that and really think about what it is that you want to feel today. So first, on a soul level, okay? So I'm going to do two parts here. So the first is the soul, and then the second is the human, because we have both parts. And I don't believe that we're one without the other. I believe that we're intertwined. My belief system is that we are a soul that is having a human experience. And the human experience feels very real. And so I always say that love is not the way that I teach it, the way that I coach it, the way that I believe it, the way that it works for me, is that love is not something that we do, it's not something we give, it's not something we receive, but it's who we are. That at a soul level, the essence of who you were before you came to earth, the essence of you after you come to earth is love. You've always been love, and you will always be love, and you cannot be without love. That love is who you are, and that you are so loved that you are literally coming into the human now, that you were created in the act of love, right? What do we say? We say that you made love to create a baby. Where do you think that expression came from? It's two loves, two humans coming together in love to create life. That's love. The pleasure state, the ecstasy state, that excitement state, that's love. That feel good state. So whether you were formed in the love of your parents as a married couple who loved each other, or you were formed in the love of a one-night stand at a bar one night, there was love in that moment that brought your parents together to create you. And you then were so loved that your mother carried you in her womb. She was pregnant with you and she nurtured her body. She grew you. She carried you. You then were so loved that you were then birthed into this world in the greatest pain that women ever experience in their life. You were so loved that your mother sacrificed her body. Her body literally broke and tore and stretched and cut to make room for you to be born. That's how loved you are. That's the love that you are. You then were birthed and you were taken care of wherever you were birthed. Whether you were birthed at a hospital or you were birthed at a home or wherever you were birthed. You were birthed surrounded by love. Of people who couldn't wait to hold you and clean you. And then you were placed in the arms of your mother and you continued to be loved. And then you continued to grow and you continued to learn and you will continue to be loved by your parents and your family. And then one day you met friends and you continue to be loved. You are so loved. And it all starts from that soul level. You came into this earth knowing that you are loved. And so as a baby, as a child, you remembered what love was. Love was not something as a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, that you had to search for. Yes, you cried for your needs to be met. Yes, you cried to be fed and to be changed and to be taken care of. But you knew that you were so loved that if you cried, that your needs would be taken care of, that your wants would be taken care of. And only in the conditioning of life, so this is now where we come back to earth. And why we love the way that we love is rooted in those early years of how we were responded to. How we were responded to by our mothers when we cried, when we didn't want to sleep in our crib. These methods of crying it out versus not crying it out. You know, they claim that we don't remember being a baby. But whether you physically have memories, your body keeps score. Your heart remembers. And so crying it out, for example, crying it out is not something I've done with my son. And there's no shame on anything that anyone's done. Okay, we're all learning. But you learned, for example, as a baby, that if I cry, either my mother comes or my mother doesn't come. And when you cried it out, for example, if you cried it out and your mother didn't come, the first time you cried really, really loud and your mom didn't come. The second night, you still cried really, really loud, but then you didn't cry as loud. And then the third night, you cried a little bit. Your mom still didn't come. And then the fourth night, you learned, when I cry, mama doesn't come. And our society has congratulated and celebrated women to use these tools of crying it out because your baby now learned to sleep by themselves. They learned to sleep all night long. But they didn't learn to sleep all night long. What they learned is that my needs aren't met. And so I now have to self-soothe. I now have to love myself more. I have to now connect with myself more. Also, our society, our parents start to condition how we are loved, what love means, what love doesn't mean. And again, this is not to shame. Our society has conditioned us in so many ways. And the truth is, you know what? Side note, I was actually thinking about this in the shower. So I'm going to go on a little tangent off of my notes, but I was taking a shower and I was getting ready for this live today. And I have my 10-year-old niece with me and I have a 2-year-old son. And I was thinking today about how I remember being 10 years old. Who remembers being 10 years old? And hated being told what to do. And I'm struggling right now, right? I'll be honest. I'm struggling as a grown adult right now because I feel I have to tell my niece what to do. And I don't want to have to tell her what to do. And I remember being 10 years old and not wanting to be told what to do. And now, at 33 years old, I would love to if someone told me what to do. I would love if someone could just hold my hand and say, Jenna, do this to get that. Do this to get that. Turn right, turn left. Like I'm begging someone, right? I hire people. I literally hire coaches to tell me what to do. And so anyways, I went on a tangent, but we love the way that we love because of how we are conditioned to love. We learned as a child through what we heard and what we saw and how we were treated and what we thought love meant and what love didn't mean. But love is actually who we are. And so the first 7 years of our life is when the subconscious mind is the most open and the most impressionable. This is when we begin to start forming belief systems like, I am loved when I am good. I am loved when I am quiet. I am loved when I perform. I am loved when I take care of everyone else. I'm loved when I don't speak my truth. I'm loved when I dance like this. I'm loved when I don't dance like this, right? You form beliefs like I am too much. or my needs are inconsistent, or you form beliefs like love leaves, or you form beliefs like love must be earned, or love is safe, or love is unsafe, or intimacy is safe, or intimacy is not safe. This is when we start to form these belief systems, and not just with love, but also with money and health and trust. The first 7 years programs our subconscious mind to how we are going to be and who we are going to be for the rest of our life. And I'm not trying to scare you, but it is now scientifically proven. Our brains are like sponges. Our babies' brains double and triple in size. They learn so fast the first year and the second year because they're taking in information. It is moldable. It's open. And so this is where we learn love through what we felt, what we saw, what we heard, and what we experienced. And so I want to pinpoint that we don't just learn love through the words, I love you. Children learn love through their tone, through presence, through touch, through emotional availability, through eye contact, through rappel. Because side note, if you're a parent, you're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to lay in bed at night thinking, God, I should have done that different. I shouldn't have acted that way, right? It's about rappel. How do you rappel when you mess up, right? For example, I told you, I have a 2-year-old. And so it's funny because I have a 2-year-old and I have my 10-year-old niece. And I'm playing mama card in 2 different ways right now. And I'm noticing how I'm split right now. One of the things that I'm navigating on a personal note right now is my niece has a lot of screen time. She's used to a lot of screen time. She's used to playing on her iPad and her phone and playing video games. And I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I'm going ballistic. I'm going ballistic. Not outside, but inside, right? Because I have a belief system, okay, that has been conditioned, that has been programmed of what it should look like, right? How much screen time she should get, how much she should be on technology, what she should. And the truth is, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Excuse my language, right? I have these belief systems that says you shouldn't be on your screen so much, right? But then I have a conflicting belief system that says, well, what do I really know? I just want her to know she's loved. I want her to know that she's wanted, right? It's also confusing because I'm not her mom, right? I'm her aunt. So it's like, what role do I play? How much do I discipline versus don't discipline, right? And so we're figuring this out. I'm figuring this out right now. But it's all coming back to love. I'm telling her she can't be on her iPad because I love her. These are the stories I'm telling her in my head, right? I'm not saying I'm right? But the story in my head says, I love you so much, Zoe, that I'm going to take away the iPad because I want you to learn, and I want you to grow, and I want you to become a smart girl. And so even things like this, right, are how we are conditioned in love. Why we love that the way that we are, why we do. Right? We either learn that love means discipline, or we learn that love means flexibility, or we learn that love is being responsible. So there are so many different ways that we are programmed in how we give, how we receive, how we do acts of love. And it's all in the first 7 years of life. And children learn love through the body before they ever understand love through the mind. And so what I mean by this is that, have you ever walked into a room, and I want you guys to comment and share with me and tell me, first off, tell me if this is landing. Tell me if this is not landing. But how many of you guys have walked into a room and you can just feel the energy? Like you can feel if someone was fighting, if that couple's house that you just walked into was fighting, right? Or you can walk into a room and you can feel like, oh, they're angry right now. Or you can feel like, wow, Jenna's so excited right now, before I even open my mouth to speak, before they open their mouth to speak. Your body feels it. Have you experienced that? Put a yes or no in the chat. Well, this is the same with children, and children are even more open. So children feel the love in their body before they can understand love through their mind. Is this landing? I want to pause for a minute. I'm going to pause, and I want you to tell me in the comments, is this landing? Do you have any questions? Do you have any feelings? And then I'm going to move into the next section, which is how childhood love then becomes adult love. So we just talked about how it's formed in the soul level, or how we are love on a soul level. We talked about how love is formed in childhood. And next we're going to be moving into how childhood love becomes adult love. But I want to see where we're at first. Can I get some hearts, some comments? Anything? Okay, I'm going to carry on. So how childhood love becomes adult love. So if we felt inconsistent, if we felt love was inconsistent, you may become anxious when someone pulls away as an adult. So now we're talking about adulthood. If love felt conditional, you may become a perfectionist, or a people pleaser. If love felt emotionally unavailable, you may choose unavailable partners. Let me know if any of these are ringing true. If love felt overwhelming or unsafe, you may push away intimacy when it gets too close. This one was a big one for me. Is I wanted love, right? I wanted, like, before I was married, with the men that I dated, I wanted love so badly, but I would chase the men that were unavailable. Has anyone else done that? And so if you felt love was emotionally unavailable, you may chase unavailable partners. If love felt overwhelming or unsafe, you may push. Oh, so that's where I was. If love felt overwhelming or unsafe, you may push away intimacy when it gets too close. So I would do this push-pull game where I'd want the love and I'd call the love in, but then I was scared to be loved, right? Because I was scared that if I was loved, then I would get hurt, that I would get abandoned. And for me personally, it was more of an abandonment wound. I had this belief system, right? Not consciously, right? But subconsciously, I had this belief system that says love will abandon you. Love will leave. Love is inconsistent. Love is hot and love is cold. And so I would play this game of like pulling people in and then pushing them away because I was scared. If your needs were dismissed, you may feel, if your needs were dismissed, you may struggle to ask for what you want. If you had to earn love, you may feel guilty receiving love without doing anything. If you were deeply loved and emotionally attuned to, love may feel safe or natural. And so I just want you to feel into some of these that I named, if any of them feel true to you. Because the truth is, we don't choose partners from our adult mind. We don't choose partners from logic. We don't choose partners from rationality. At least this is my belief system. From me coaching thousands of people on love and relationships and childhood development and sacred sexuality, what I have learned is that we don't choose love because it's logical. Actually, sometimes, let me pause. I believe that we choose partners logically. We don't choose love logically. We attune to people who made us feel the same way that we felt in childhood. And I'm telling you this from all of my thousands of coachings that I've done, from my own lived experiences, that we choose partners that are going to help us to both feel loved, to feel wanted, to feel adored, to feel needed, to feel cherished in the ways that we want to feel that. But we also subconsciously choose partners that are going to trigger our greatest wounds, that are going to trigger our greatest hurts, that are going to trigger our greatest boo-boos and present it to us. Let me know if that resonates. Not because we want that, but because we want to grow, because we want to evolve, because we want to learn, because we want to change. And this is the most important thing. I believe that we choose that because we want to understand. We want to understand, why did it play out like that when I was a child? Why did it play out like that when I was a kid? Why did mommy act that way? Why did daddy act that way? Why did they do that? Why did they act in that way? And as a child, we didn't yet have the cognition to understand why people act in the way that they were acting. But now adults, we have the logic, we have the rationality, we have the problem solving, we have the cognitive thinking. So we recreate the same situations over and over again to understand from a different perspective. And I'm about to break out in tears right now because this is so true to me. And I'm going to share something so vulnerable and open and personal with you right now. I hope that's okay. But I share that I'm taking care of my niece right now. She's the love of my life. I love her so much. Before I became a mom, I was a mother to her. And I'm role playing a game right now. My higher self is role playing a game that played out when I was a child that I couldn't understand. Of when I lived with my aunt and when I lived with my uncle. And I was the same exact age she was when I moved in with my aunt and my uncle. As my niece is now living with me, her aunt, and my husband, her uncle. And it's almost like this cosmic play, right? It's like from one end, I can laugh about it, right? Of like, oh my goodness, I could call that a coincidence, right? It's just a coincidence that my aunt and my uncle took me in when I was a kid. And now I'm taking in my niece when she was the same age. But I don't believe this is a coincidence. I believe this is playing out the way that it played out because, I'll be honest, my greatest trauma in my life didn't happen from my mom. It didn't happen from my dad. Despite my parents being addicts, it wasn't them that caused me the greatest trauma. It was when I was living with my aunt and uncle. And when I had done, again, I'm getting personal, I had done my first psychedelic healing journey years and years and years ago. And I thought that this mushroom journey would bring me enlightenment and that it would bring me, higher consciousness and all this. No, it brought me to me living with my aunt and uncle when I was 10 years old so I could heal it. And it was something, I remember being on the journey and thinking, I think about this all the time. Why am I living this right now? And I had my Reiki practitioner. He was what was called trip sitting me at the time. He was watching me, right, as I was in my ceremony. And he has said, because it's something that still needs to be healed. And so I share all of this because now here I am, 20 something years later, in a different position, in a different point of view. Now, no longer the child, no longer the 10-year-old, but I'm now in the point of view. I'm now in the perspective. I'm now in the role of aunt. And so I can now, it's like almost like I've subconsciously created the situation in the grand scheme of life so that I can understand now at 33 what I couldn't understand at 10. And it's almost like I've subconsciously created the situation so that I can help my niece and teach my niece, and I can be better for my niece than what I had. And it's almost like I've created this situation so that I can help and I can be for her what I didn't have and what I needed and what I wanted. And so I went off notes on that one. But we love the way that we love because it's rooted in our childhood, because it's so ingrained in us. And then it plays into how we love as an adult. So for example, why am I loving my niece the way that I'm loving my niece? Well, I'm loving my niece the way that I love my niece because one, I remember what it was like to be 10 years old. I remember what it was like to be taken away from my parents, right? And I feel that. So I'm loving her from my own wounds, right? But I'm also loving her from her own identity of who she is, seeing her for her Zoe, for who isn't Jenna, for her own uniqueness, for her own authenticity. And so why do we love anyone the way that we love them? It's both personal as well as external. So often we choose from our wounded inner child, our nervous system, and our earliest blueprints of love. So I want to pause. Does that resonate? So I want you to just think for a minute. And if you're watching the replay or if you have time now, I want you to journal. And it's actually a new moon today. I want you to write down when you were little, what did love feel like? And really start to ponder that. When you were little, what did love feel like? Did it feel warm? Did it feel safe? Did it feel consistent? Did it feel chaotic? Did it feel conditional? Did it feel distant? Did it feel playful? Did it feel heavy? Did it feel silent? Did it feel loud? Did you feel like you had to earn it? And I also want to add another layer onto this, which is a whole nother workshop for a whole nother time, that we then create identities for our life. We create characters. So it's almost like we're playing a video game and we then have to create a character of who we need to be to then receive the love that we so badly ache for, the love that we so badly need. And again, I'm going to go back to my niece, right? She's like the theme of this right now, because I'm noticing that she's becoming that good girl complex. She's becoming the good girl, which I love the good girl. She is a good girl. She's a very good girl, right? But she's becoming a good girl. I'm noticing how when I say, Zoe, you can't be on your iPad right now, she doesn't fight back. She just says, okay, Zia, okay. She's very agreeable, right? She will do anything to avoid conflict, right? So I'm noticing, and I pointed out to her yesterday, that she's taking on this identity of a good girl to avoid conflict, to avoid fighting, and to be loved. Because somewhere in her childhood, and again, maybe I'm making this up, maybe this is not how she feels. Who am I? Zoe, if you're listening to this 20 years from now, let me know if I'm full of bullshit or if this is what you feel. But I believe that, we take on identities that make us, that we've learned that if I'm the good girl, I'm going to be loved. I'm going to be loved if I'm the good girl. What's another one of, if I'm a people pleaser, I'll be loved. If I am tough, I will be loved, right? If I'm, what's another one? Put in the chat. What's another identity, right? Maybe if I have enough money, right? People who, care a lot about money, right? And that money will buy them love, right? If I'm fit enough, if I work out enough, right? If I do CrossFit, I'll look good and I'll be loved, right? Or here's one that's my husband. If I'm smart enough, I'll be loved. My husband is very intelligent. He's a very mind person. He's a mind person, people. But it's what we value. And it's rooted in our subconscious. And I'll tell you a secret. I'll give you all of my secrets. I'm a love coach because I want to be loved. I took on the identity of a love coach because I believe that love, that's the wound. That's the secret. I'm teaching what I'm teaching because we all do what we do. We take on the identities that we take on, all in the name of love. But when we come back to the knowing that you don't actually have to do anything to be loved, you don't actually have to give anything to be loved, you don't actually have to receive, you just are loved. You are loved on a soul level. You are loved. You are love. You've always been love. You will always be love. Your soul is eternal love. Repeat that. Put that in the chat. I am love. I am love. I am love. I don't need to do anything to get love. I don't need to be any identity to be loved. I don't even need to receive your love, people. Don't even give me your love. I'm just love. And you are love. And we're all love. And you're deserving of love. And you are worthy of love. Love is who you are. Love is who you are. Wake up, people. Your love is who you are. I'm excited. I love love. And so, bringing us back into earth. I just woke up my baby. Oh, no, I was so loud. I woke up my baby. Okay. My baby was napping. I got so excited. I just woke up my baby. Hopefully my husband has him. I may have to run in a minute to put him back to sleep. I'm so sorry. I'm still learning. Hopefully my husband can get back to sleep. I'm going to be quiet now. So I want you to ask yourself, when you were little, what did love feel like? And then ask, how did the adults around you show love? How did they receive love? Side note, we also learn love from our parents who learned how to love based off of how they were loved. So if your parents were tough love, they were tough love because they learned from their parents. That's how you give love, right? If your parents were very warm and open, they're like that because they learned from their parents how to love. We learn from our parents. And so we have to break the generational love when it's not serving. Ask, how did they handle conflict? How did they repair after hurt? Were your emotions welcomed or were they dismissed? Did you feel safe needing things? And so when you do this, I want you not to blame anyone, but to just tell your own truth. Truth is not blame. Truth is a doorway to freedom. So feel into that. And then I want you to think into, and the replay for this will be available on YouTube. But then to think about, where do you still try to earn love? Where do you still struggle to receive love? What makes you feel unloved? Even if the other person may not be abandoning you, why do you still continue to not feel loved? This is something that I'm guilty of. I know that my husband loves me so much, and there's still times that I feel unloved. And you know why? Because I compare him to social media. We compare our levels to other people. That's not realistic. Well, I'm very excited, I'm very loud, and I'm very out there. My husband's not that. My husband is very calm. He's very quiet. He's very in his mind. He's a programmer. He's logical. And so he doesn't give love through a lot of acts. He doesn't give love through a lot of words, right? I give love through a lot of words. The way I feel loved is just tell me you love me a million times in a day. It's not a problem. Just tell me you love me. But he shows he loves me by traveling. He hates traveling. I love traveling. But he shows his love by going with me to go pick up my niece. So the question is, what makes me feel, I'm sorry, my son woke up, I got distracted. What makes me feel unloved, even if the other person may not be abandoning me? What do I do when I feel scared to love? Do I cling? Do I shut down? Do I over-explain? Do I people please? Do I criticize? Do I disappear? Do I chase? Do I go numb? And what love story am I still living from my childhood? And so I just want to end this before we go to the meditation, because we're already almost at an hour, that we have to reprogram the way that we love. We have to reprogram how we love, how we feel love, how we give love, how we receive love. Even though that's not love, you're still worthy of love. You're still valuable. Love, I know it contradicts, but we still are here on earth. And so you don't reprogram love by shaming yourself. You don't reprogram love by giving your body a new, you do reprogram love by giving your body a new experience of love. So that can look like letting safe love be slow. Letting safe love in slowly. So one thing that was new for me is, before my husband, I thought that love was passion. I'll be honest, before my husband, I had a lot of passionate lovers, right? I was very passionate, and I thought that the more passionate you were, the more, hands-on, right? That was love. Well, my husband gave me a very different lesson when we were best friends for 7 years. We were best friends for 7 years before anything happened. Our love was slow. He slowed me down. He taught me, for me, my life path. It might not be your life path, but for my life path, the greatest love is soft. The greatest love is slow. So we have to reprogram the way that we love. You can do this by speaking your needs out loud, practicing receiving without overgiving. So often, I'm guilty of this, is when I receive something, I feel like I have to give back. I'm like, oh, I have to give this back to you, right? If someone got me a really good birthday present, then I'm like, oh, I have to get them a really good birthday present, right? So practicing receiving without overgiving. Choosing emotionally available people. If you're someone who continues to choose that person who's not available, the person who's told you so many times, I don't want you, or this isn't the relationship that I desire, stop choosing them. This is another one I was guilty of, as I had a man that I loved tell me to my face that I was going to keep choosing people who didn't love me until I got the clue to love myself. I hung on to a man who didn't want me for so long. Many men I did this with, hoping that if I just stayed around long enough that they would love me. But they didn't. Not that they didn't love me, but that they could only love me to the amount that they love themselves. And that's another important thing, if you take nothing from today, is that people are asking people to love them. They're asking people to love them who have an empty cup of love. It's like asking someone for a strawberry when they don't have any strawberries to give. The only people who can give you strawberries are those who have strawberries. It sounds silly, but this is what we do with love, is we ask people who don't love themselves, who don't have the extra love to give, that don't have the capacity of love to love us. And then we get hurt and we say, it's me. There's something wrong with me. I'm not deserving of love. I'm not valuable. I'm not worthy. No, bullshit. You are so loved. You are so wanted. You are so deserving of love. And the only thing that you're doing wrong is you're asking people to love you who don't have the love to give. You're asking people for strawberries who don't have strawberries. Go find someone who has a whole bucket of strawberries, who has a whole truckload of strawberries, and get some strawberries. I hear my baby. You want to meet my little love?
Baby's been hysterical.
Okay, we gotta go to bed. Hi. This is my little love. Here's what Mama's doing. So, this is where we're probably going to have to end, everyone. I apologize for cutting us off early. But in the name of why we love the way that we love, I need to put this little love first and give him what he needs and put him back to bed. And so I thank you guys so much for joining me. I thank you for being here. And in the name of love, I'm going to go. But I hope that you guys have a beautiful day and you guys can catch the replay on YouTube. Bye, guys, and I'm sorry. Oh, his head. I gotta go.